Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. My name is R. Lee Ingalls, author and writer. And today's podcast is really kind of for both the family and my personal podcast series. But this one I'm going to talk about my new recipe book. And I'm going to talk specifically about one of the recipes in it that I made the other night. It's the Chicken Lyonnaise recipe. You should be seeing a photo of it now and the after photo of it. What I'm doing is the cookbook is already done and all the recipes are in there. Everything that I intend to add to the cookbook is there with the exception of the photos. So some of the recipes I'm cooking so I can take the photos. That was the purpose of making this, in addition to the fact that it is a really good dish. So the recipe's in the book, but there are things that I do different from the recipe, and it's too much to put in there because there's a lot of variables and options and stuff that I use. That it's too hard to put it in the cookbook itself. So I'm making these videos to kind of explain what those are. So Chicken Lyonnaise is a recipe. You can see it here in the rough draft. I'm going to talk about some of the things that I do, and I'll go right down the list. But before I do, I want to do a plug for my book. My first book was Ingalls on the Prairie. This is the story of my parents, Jennifer and Ingalls. And sadly, we lost my mother in February of this year. And my father we lost in 2017. So they are no longer with us. If you want to read about their early years, this is the book. This adds a fourth generation of the Ingalls family stories to what Laura Ingalls Wilder has already put out there. So it's available on Amazon and other sites. If you want a signed copy, I'll have the social media IDs up later, and you can reach out to me in any of those, and we'll work together to make sure that that happens. Okay, so back to the recipe. Again, Chicken Lyonnaise, it's really good. It's not that difficult to make, but let's talk about some of the variations. First of all, when I get a new recipe, I always make it exactly the way it is written the first time. Okay, so those people who know me will tell you that's not true. I don't actually do that. I might vary it a little bit, but not too much from what it actually says, especially in some of the key parts. So let's start right at the very top. The recipe calls for chicken breasts, and chicken breasts are thick, and it can be hard to get them cooked all the way through without getting them tough and dry. So what I do is I cut it in half, but rather than setting it down and cutting in half, I set it down, squish it together a little bit, and then I cut it this way so that you end up with two really thin pieces of chicken. It cooks quicker that way. You can get it cooked. It stays moist. That's the reason I do it that way. And one of the secrets about doing that is if the chicken is really, really cold, it cuts better. Your knife should absolutely be sharp. It'll get through the chicken easier. If you need to, put it in the freezer for about 15 minutes. That'll get it a little bit more firm, and it will cut much easier. So that's how I get it cut and thin enough to where it will cook quickly. Now, the recipe does call for it to be fried on both sides for 10 minutes. I find that to be too much. I do it on 10 minutes on the first side, get it nice golden brown, flip it over, cook it somewhere between 7 and 8 minutes on the second side to get it nice and brown, and then it's good. It should be done. It should be cooked all the way through. Take that then, set it on a cookie sheet. You're going to put that in the oven to keep it warm while you make the lyonnaise or the onion sauce. So you make the onion sauce. I don't really change it that much. It's written really well the way that it is. So I make it pretty much the way it says. Sometimes I will leave out the tomato paste if I don't want a tomato base in it. If I wanted something lighter and fresher, I'll leave the tomato out. The recipe also then calls for you to return the chicken to the onion mixture and cover it to cook the chicken all the way through. Well, if you sliced it in half, it's already cooked all the way through. You don't have to do that. And I also find that doing that softens your nicely golden crisp crust, which I don't like that either. I like it to stay crispy. So I don't do that step. I leave that out. I did for the photos. I put the chicken back in there just so you can see it. I also served it that way with the chicken on top of the lyonnaise sauce, and I do like it that way sometimes. But more times than not, I'll have the chicken on the side, the onion mixture alongside of it, so you can kind of mix it at your own pace, and the chicken that way, as I said, stays crisp. A couple other things that I do to the chicken If you want to do just a chicken, you can do that. It works. I will add Parmesan, the ground Parmesan, to the flour mixture, and that way you get a Parmesan crusted chicken breast. Or take a finely chopped pecan and add it to the flour mixture, and then you have a pecan crusted chicken. It's really, really good, and like I said, it's not that hard to make. So making that at night for dinner should be pretty easy if you want to impress people. It's a really good dish to impress people. And those are the variables that I use in this recipe. They won't be in the book, or they won't be in the book very much, but or not all that will be in the book. So yeah, coupling the video with the recipe book itself, you're going to get all the variables that I do at different times. Hopefully this is helpful, and I can give you some additional cooking techniques that you won't find actually in the cookbook. Cookbook should be available in a couple of months. Once I get enough of the photos done, I'm going to start having them printed. Again, if you want a signed copy of the cookbook, let me know. You can reach out to me on my social media sites. We'll work together to make that happen. My name again, Arlie Ingalls. As you know, I'm a member of the Ingalls family. That was the subject of the Little House on the Prairie series. My cookbook title is going to be Ingalls on the Prairie, the Cookbook. And it'll probably have the real Ingalls family on there somewhere. So these recipes are a combination of family recipes that I have found over the years. I'm also a member of a cooking club. Some of them came from the cooking club as well. So let me know what you think. I appreciate you joining me. Thank you.